Good Sunday morning, boys and girls. The sun is out, and I'm sure something's going to see its shadow somewhere, like them little rodents always do. Here we are. I'm that kitchen tabletop gun dealer. What can I say other than a few things I've noticed this past week? First off, all you guys out there that live in New York, you need to concentrate on what's happening in New York, okay? You don't need to start posting videos from all over the United States. Stop the quotes. We don't need to know about the Federalist Papers. We don't need to know the quotes from Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, Orwell, any space aliens, all right? You need to concentrate. You need to concentrate on what's happening in New York. You need to concentrate on the 32 pages of bullshit that the Senate and the New York State Legislature passed. This is what you have to concentrate on, all right? You need to sit down and read through this and look at all the laws that they want to amend, okay? It's like a dozen different criminal codes, correction law, criminal procedure, family court. I mean, if you get ready to go through a divorce and your wife's attorney or your significant other's attorney decides, well, he's got guns, I don't want him to have guns, judge, take your guns away. Then they got this mental hygiene thing where if they think you're a danger to yourself, they can take your firearms. Or, you got to go give your firearms to a family member who's responsible and they have to lock everything up. I'm no judge, but I think they already had that power to do that. Go figure. But they just want everything bulletproofed. What they did is they took 20, they were all sitting around drinking Kool-Aid all these years. They threw 20 turds up on the wall in Albany. They stood back, they took another sip, they closed their eyes, they opened their eyes, they says, oh, what a pretty picture we painted, all right? There are already laws for this stuff here. Then they throw in distractors like, everybody who has a handgun permit in New York State, you have to have a handgun permit in New York State in order to own a handgun. That shouldn't even happen. It's ridiculous. But what makes it worse is they list the firearms you own on that permit. That's firearms registration. Okay, this is not reasonable, according to, the Heller decision when the justices come down and said, well, don't you think we could have something reasonable? Oh, yeah, we'll do something reasonable. This is not reasonable. Now they get a firearms list. Now it's public information. So anybody they want, they can take it and can post your name on the internet. Well, what amazed me was there were all these firearms owners in New York that were really upset that law enforcement and guards and judges and lawyers had their names on the internet, but they never thought about themselves. And I'm having a real hard time why sportsmen and firearms owner and people in general put all civil service employees and their jobs up on a pedestal. I mean, you chose that career path, all right? You chose the excitement. You chose the danger, all right? Firemen, policemen, state troopers, military, and I'm a veteran. You chose that danger. You chose that excitement. The little boy in you says, when I want to grow up, I want to chase bad guys. Doesn't matter if you're in the military or in law enforcement. When I grow up, I want to chase bad guys. I want to be on the side of the guy that rides the white horse in the white hat and carries a silver bullet. Well, I'll tell you what, people, there ain't no silver bullet for this. They got the opt-out thing on your privacy. That's a distractor. That's a bargaining chip. All right? Everything in here, they're going to want to bargain again on. They're going to want firearms owners and sportsmen in New York to come out and bargain point by point what we want. Well, it didn't take much because for 2 months, y'all were out there screaming, we got to do something about the mental health law. We got to do something about the mental health law. 30 years ago, they let all these people out. Oh, we got to do something about the mental health law. Well, where were you 30 years ago? I mean, you write one letter 1 week saying, oh, I don't want you to raise my taxes. I ain't paying for this crap. And then a week later you write, oh, I feel so bad for the mentally ill. They shouldn't be locked up in prison. Well, maybe they shouldn't be locked up in prison with regular criminals because they're mental. I mean, how far does a mental person have to go? Now, You got all these soldiers coming back from the 13-year war that we've been involved in. Actually, probably the 23-year war in the Middle East. All right? You get guys that are doing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tours. They've been in every freaking country over there that has 6 species of camels. All right? 3 different continents. We had guys that spent a year in Vietnam, 2 years, 18 months. You know, a couple of cruises here and there. And they came back with problems. Post-traumatic stress syndrome, I believe it is. What do you think these guys are going to go through? What do you think they're going to come back home and they're going to go buy a gun? You know, they've been in the military 20 years, they're going to retire, they're going to go buy a gun, and all of a sudden, bing, pops up, oh, you're denied. Oh, by the way, and you own more? We're going to come get you. Then you guys start talking, well, the statistics say that the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, they don't go after everybody who's denied on a NICS application background check. Well, why would the ATF go after everybody that's been denied with that one check? I mean, you might have had a guy that was wrong name. How about that? I got a customer, his last name's Green. I got a delay every time. And then they go to the second examiner and he's approved. You have people that maybe never did anything wrong and they're denied. You have guys that might have got a divorce 20 years earlier and the paperwork, nothing was removed from the courts the way it should be. All right? But they just like to keep everything so they can look back. I mean, don't you find it bizarre that there's somebody that's like 38 years old or 68 years old and all of a sudden all this stuff pops up in court from when he was, you know, like 12 or 13, you know, where he shot a bird with a BB gun and his neighbor blew him in. Don't you find this stuff bizarre that they actually keep, the government actually keeps that much information on you, but yet when they go to run for office, we can never find anything out about them? You can't even get people they went to high school or college with to talk about it. Now, back to this. You're going to concentrate on what's happening in New York. I don't care what Buffalo Bill, Wild Bill, Little Bill, Big Bill, Weenie Bill, Fat Bill, Bald Bill in Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho and Utah have to say about what President Obama is going to do with the federal gun ban. You people in New York, you need to concentrate on New York. I don't want to see pictures on my Facebook page of your horoscopes, your kitties, puppy dogs, you and the old lady at dinner, your girlfriend, your grandkids, okay? I don't want to see that on my political page, all right? The groups that I belong to. Put that on your own personal page, okay? You need to concentrate here, all right? Like you're shooting the 25th target, like that low 8, that second low 8 on the skeet field. You need to concentrate that hard pretty much all the time if you want to get through this. Now, we're all going to Albany on February the 28th. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to listen because I know there's a whole bunch of compromisers out there just waiting to give in. Remember, what I told you last week, how many canceled your newspaper? How many canceled your cable TV? How many stopped buying lottery tickets? How many of you that teach hunter education are willing to resign this week? I mean, we've been helping the state out for free for years. That floats them, you know. Now I know people out there are going to say, well, that's what they want. Well, I'll tell you what, that's not what they want. You resign from teaching hunter education. You resign from the Boy Scouts. You resign from all this stuff, all the controversial little issues. Resign from it. Say, you know, when you people get your crap straightened out here in New York, we'll come back and help you. Now, there's a comment I made on my Facebook page and on my blog. My blog's at www.blackputterbill.com. I said, you go to all these organizations, and they got a little box where you can put your zip code in, so you can find out who your legislator, senators, federal senators, judges, presidents, governors, assistant governor, whatever they call them. You can find out who they are. So you put your zip code in and you can then send them a letter. That's pathetic. That is really sad that all these organizations, including the federal government and state government and town governments, that they have a spot where you can put your zip code in and click, click, and it'll tell you who's in your area that represents you. That's sad. You should know who represents you. You should know who your state senators are. You should know who your Congress people are. You should know who your state legislator is. You should know who the federal senator and congressman are. You should know this. You should at least know one judge in your area. And I'm not talking about the justice of the peace down at the town hall. I'm talking about a real judge, okay? You should already know this. Which brings to a point of fact of mine, buddy of mine over in Holly, New York, Paul. He goes, maybe they don't know who these people are because you never voted to begin with. Hey, this is Black Powder Bill, and it's a great Sunday. I got the realtor coming by the house to look at the house. If you know anybody that's looking for a nice 4-bedroom colonial on 5 acres over here in the Walworth, Ontario area, hey, you know, give my realtor a call, North Nagel Realty. Give Frank Rabuso a call, and you know, maybe we can hook you up to buy a house. Because the sooner you buy this house, the quicker I can get my garden in down in Georgia. This is Black Powder Bill out, and you know who I am, but you don't know who represents you. This is really sad. Y'all have a nice day.